gotta get you to a hospital.
No, it's over. But the Justice Society must live on. Someone with strength and heroism must carry the torch.
I'll try.
Not you. Definitely not you.
Aloha! Welcome to Scintillating Reviews, where today we will be reviewing episode 2 of CW's new TV show and an original DC Universe superhero, Stargirl. This episode was much funnier compared to the last episode. Now, I'm not saying that last week's episode wasn't funny, but this episode had so much humor into this, and I just couldn't stop laughing. It had a lot of relatable content that Courtney did that kind of brought me back into my teenage nostalgia attitude phase thing, but we're not going to talk about that. This video will be a podcast style, so if you want to minimize my videos while listening to me and doing something else, that is totally fine. I won't be an offense to that. Spoiler alert is now in effect. Last episode, we met Courtney, who discovers the cosmic staff, and met a villain by the name of Brainwave, and we are left where the teenager is face to face with a robot who is controlled by her stepfather, Pat. The episode starts where Pat and Courtney escape, but Brainwave was able to get hold of Courtney's school ID, which is burned and melted. Yet it revealed to him where the cosmic staff wielder goes to school. Courtney and Pat hide in the mechanic shop, The Pit, where Pat explains about Stripe and how he created it after quote-unquote Sylvester passed away, and explained that Icicle, who was the leader of the Injustice Society, killed Starman. We see a man by the name of William getting woken up by his son, who says that he hears someone downstairs. The father goes downstairs, seeing Brainwave in his uniform. Brainwave states that the girl in the school ID has Starman's staff, and to let William know that he needs to alert the others. William denies that plan, but Brainwave already called Jordan, who his baddie name is Icicle, to let him know of the plan. It is here that Brainwave reveals that Blue Valley is the perfect place for Jordan's ultimate plan. Brainwave is now on the hunt to find Courtney and see what she knows about the cosmic staff and why she's wielding it, and plans to kill her afterwards. Courtney is still on Pat about the truth and the Justice Society of America. Pat first starts with Our Man, who survived the night 10 years ago, and followed the Injustice Society and see what their next plan was. Shortly afterwards, however, his wife and Our Man passed away due to a car accident, and following Rex's research led Pat to Blue Valley, and that's where he met Courtney's mother. Unfortunately, Pat wasn't able to pick up the Injustice Society's trail. The two continue to bicker. Courtney is hinting that she wants to do something with the staff and quote-unquote get revenge on her father and the JSA, who are Pat's closest friends. But Pat is not going to allow anything to happen to her or his family. In the middle of early morning, Pat wakes up and takes a look at Brainwave's file. After being startled by the dog, Pat knows that he is about to get ready for a fight. In the middle of a cornfield, Pat takes Stripe out and tests out Stripe's attack, giving us a funny scene on the failed attempts. We then see Barb getting ready for work, but not before she questions Courtney and Pat on their faces and how each of them have cuts. They both unintentionally and unplanned say that they tripped on the stairs, and how quickly they moved on to the great pancakes that Pat made. Once Barb leaves, Courtney leaves too, giving us a small funny line said by Mike. And speaking of the funny line by Mike, isn't there a little Easter egg that Mike made where he said golly gee or something like that? Wasn't there another superhero that made that exact same line that Mike did? We feel that there is, but we're not exactly sure on who it was that said it. If you guys know, let us know down in the comments below. Continuing on with the episode synopsis, Courtney heads to the basement and opens the chest that contains Starman's costume. She takes it and sneaks it with her as she is heading to school. We arrive at the home of Brainwave, where he calls his son to his study room, and he uses his own power on his son to find information about the cosmic staff wielder. Brainwave tells Henry Jr. to look into his eyes and tell him what he is thinking. I'm not sure. To me, if this is something of intimidation or something that Brainwave is showing that he has power over Henry Jr., or maybe I feel he is testing his son to see if his son has the same power as him. Hopefully we can get more about that in the later episodes. We move to school where Courtney walks in the home economics classroom full of sewing materials, which we get a funny scene of her recreating the costume to her own style. This actually shows that the costumes are not made with normal material, hence that before she leaves, she looks back and sees that all of the sewing machines are busted and they're smoking. We move to the American Dream where CFO Mr. Sharp immediately shoots down Barb's ideas for the next fundraiser for the community. We also get a small scene where Pat peeks inside the Rip Gym City taking on Crusher's idea for getting into shape. It's the lunch hour and we see Courtney sitting down with the kids from the previous episode where Beth is video chatting with her parents, who we get an awkward vibe. Walking into Beth's mother's office is Brainwave. He's going through a list of students whose picture may match the school's ID that is still pretty charred up, so there's no certainty on whose picture it actually is. Later, it is family opening house night where Pat and Courtney are getting an unusual vibe. After this speech from the principal, Brainwave is going through the crowd reading everyone's minds to get information on the staff and who may have possession of the staff. Courtney out loud in her mind speaks Brainwave's name, and that attracts Brainwave, following her through the crowd. The two meet in the hallway. She confronts that he will pay for what has happened to the JSA and Starman. He threatens her that she must meet Brainwave back at the school with the cosmic staff, otherwise he will kill Barbara, Courtney's mother. Courtney runs and she tells Pat, and he finds Barbara and comes up with an excuse to leave the event. During the middle of the night, Courtney attempts to take the staff, but Pat strongly stands up to Courtney as a father should to protect his family and tells her to stay at home. Pat enters the pit and using a car fob with a unlocking car alarm effect, he turns on strike, preparing himself for one of the biggest fights that he's had in over a decade. Barb walks in Courtney's room and has a heart-to-heart mother-daughter talk. This only strengthens Courtney's will and fight power to go out and to protect those that she loves too. Brainwave is in front of the school waiting for Courtney's arrival. Instead, Stripe flies in. The fight starts between Stripe and Brainwave. Brainwave traps Stripe between a car and a school bus, and before Brainwave can force an answer out of Pat, fully dressed in uniform with a cosmic staff in hand, is Courtney, and she announces that she is Stargirl and pointing out that the robot is her sidekick. Pat chuckles that he once again is a sidekick. The fight resumes with Stargirl now entering the fight. Using his telekinesis power, he attacks Stargirl, but with a flash of light coming from Stripe, Stargirl uses the staff and an unusual power shines out from the staff, resulting Brainwave to be knocked out. Henry Jr. gets called by the doctors and tells him that his father is really fighting for his life as he, quote-unquote, suffered from some kind of seizure. Henry Jr. is infuriated by this. Returning to the pit, Pat explains that a man by the name of Ted Knight created the cosmic staff, leaving him not knowing exactly how the staff works. Pat reminisces that the last time he was called a sidekick by his partner, his own partner was killed in front of him. Courtney is trying to cheer him up by giving a, quote, hero name to the robot, and she sticks with the robot being named, which we already know as Stripe. And I love how she is giving an acronym to the robot. The first two words did make sense, but then she just ran out of ideas and it just got a little funny. Stripe, or Subatomic Tactical Robot Internet Pat Enhancer. I thought that was a little teenage cleverness coming from Courtney, that she's trying to cheer him up, but she just doesn't exactly know how to do it, and she's doing it the best that she can. She asks him who's next on the list as Pat gives her the parent look of, "I'm sorry, what did you just say?" The episode ends where Jordan, who is Icicle, walks into the American Dream building and enters in an office where it leads downstairs to a secret hideout area where he walks to a locked room and greets some kind of tall monster villain, which I have no doubt we're going to see him later in the season. Jordan leaves, and later he enters in another room with a big round table in the middle and chairs pushed in the table. Jordan sees that he's not alone, as sitting in one of the chairs is Mr. Sharp, the CFO of American Dream. They look at the screenshot of the security footage, seeing the cosmic staff being held by Courtney, and Icicle says that he killed one Starman, he can kill another. This episode was much more enjoyable. I feel a bit more comfortable now continuing on with the series. At first, I just wasn't sure exactly how we're gonna do it. You get the excitement, you get the hype, and then all of a sudden it just kind of swirls back down and it doesn't become enjoyable anymore. I think this is one DC Universe series that can turn this around. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see more of Courtney and Stargirl and how she's going to partner with Pat. One wish that I want is to see some kind of training segment between Pat, who is in Stripe, and Stargirl, just so she can understand her moves better, or see if she can maybe read and predict the enemy's movement that will help her battle better. I think it's great. Some of the things that Courtney does and says, it just makes me go back to my teenage days, like, oh yeah, I remember I used to do that, and then the adults would kind of get mad at me and stuff, but now I kind of understand. Now I get it. But thank you guys so much for stopping in to check out the review of episode 2 of Stargirl. Next episode comes out next week, and you guys will see me again next Monday for the review of episode 3. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you want to be notified for just certain videos or all of my videos. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching Let's Review with Scintillating Reviews. If you want to read the full article of the review, click on the link down below. And we also have a Facebook, Twitter, and follow me on Instagram at CEMadison. Our simplest prevention is our biggest protection. Take care of yourselves and others as you practice social distancing, washing hands, and staying at home. Let's get better by starting to make our world better to reduce the spread of COVID-19. See you later on another day.